So you asked me to prepare a video for you for the reversible triangle, and despite I really prefer to do the version of the non-reversible, I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it as a reversible. It's very easy. I'm gonna start by sewing the darts on both fabrics, which I have already cut it to layer with using the same type of fabric with the same stretch. And then I'm gonna be sewing my three straps, two for the top and one for the lower edge. Apply elastic, of course. Here I'm not gonna show you in detail because you already have lots of videos showing you that. I'm just going to take you through the process of how to do it as a reversible. As always, we just need to tie 2 knots on the end of our darts so that they don't get bulky. But you also have another video if you want on the tips and tricks on how to make darts perfectly without any bulkiness. So go ahead and watch that video. And now I'm gonna use my loop turner to reverse my straps to the right side, and then I will come back to explain you the next step. The interesting part. So on reversibles, you have one side where you won't see the elastic, the second fabric, and one side where you will see a little bit of the second fabric peeking out on the edges. So that's one of the reasons why sometimes if I use a reversible, I choose the size where I place the elastic to decide if I want to have that sneak peek of a contrasting color or not. In the 𝗲𝗏𝗃 pattern, the black one that you have on our website, you have a sneak peek of a blue fabric on the edges, and that's because I applied elastic on my second fabric, the blue one, so that when I use my 𝗲 swimsuit on the black side, you can still see the blue. And this was intentional, okay? And I only use it on the black side. And here the main fabric is this one with the spots. So if I apply the elastic on this side, this means that you will not see the second side, the red one, when you are wearing the bikini on with this side out, with this fabric facing out. So it's up to you if you want to apply the elastic on this side or the other. The other thing about the elastic is when we sew the elastic, our width of the elastic is never, at least in my machine, it's not set to be the same size of the elastic. So I use a 0.8 centimeter elastic, and I don't remember in inches, but you can convert it, I'm sorry. And then when I want, it's 5/16 inches. And my width of my stitch is 1/4. This means that I will always have a little bit of elastic sticking out, and this is why I have the second fabric slightly showing up. If you have the same width and the same elastic, with the same width of the elastic, it wouldn't be like I'm describing, but this is the case here. So, this being said, there's another thing regarding the reversibles. Usually, and I'm sure you have seen this, you have excess fabric on the side where you didn't apply the elastic. So if I just go ahead to my sewing machine and apply the elastic on this side, when I reverse the piece to the right side, you will see that the red one will have excess fabric, and I really hate that. That's another reason why I always tend to go to the non-reversibles. But let me try and fix that. And to try and fix that, I'm gonna try something that it's not very easy to do, because I'm gonna remove the seam allowances, a little bit of the seam allowances from the second fabric, so from the red fabric. But then it's hard because we have a very thin part here at the top. And when I'm gonna sew and apply the elastic, if the red is smaller than the other one, of course on one side it's going to be easy. But when I go to the other side, I will have to pull the fabric and it will seem like the red is small, but it's not. So that's why it's a bit hard to do it on such a small area. But for instance, if you apply that technique of removing the seam allowance, as I have shown you in so many of my videos, and also on the Veronica bottoms, for instance, on the waistline, and we hide the seams using that technique, you can see that you don't have excess fabric. So it's a really great way of doing it and if you use it as on a waistline, you don't have any issues and no troubles doing it, okay? But I'm just gonna try it today. I hope it goes well. This is a gift for a friend of mine, this bikini, so I really hope I don't mess up or I will have to do it all over again. So I'm gonna remove the seam allowances from the red. I'm just gonna do it on one of them. So if I have to remake it, I only have one to remake. And I will share if the result is good or not, and if it was easy or not, so that you can decide what to do at home. So I removed not even a quarter of an inch. It's 0.4 or 0.5 centimeters, not more than that, because I think it would be impossible for me to do it differently. And now I'm gonna align the fabrics on the top here, and I'm gonna pin first on one side. I'm gonna sew it, applying the elastic, and then I'm gonna do exactly the same on the opposite side. And I'm not gonna repeat on the other cup because I really want to try and see how this turns out. So this is how it looks once it's sewn. Let's see how it goes when I reverse it to the right side. Now I'm gonna cut the excess outside of the lines that we have just sewn. And I'm gonna show you the results when I reverse it. And you can see that the connection between the strap and the bikini is quite smooth. I really like it. I still see some bulkiness here. I think it's because of the elastic, so I'm going to trim a little bit more the elastic. And I think, and when I stretch the fabric, you can also see that on this side, you don't have excess fabric. The most difficult part, and where you see a lot of excess fabric, is on the top here, if you don't use the method that I've just explained. So you can perfectly see that we really don't have excess fabric, which it's pretty nice. And also when you are wearing it on this side, you still have that sneak peek of the other fabric, which I also like it. And now I'm gonna repeat the process because it went well, and I'm gonna come back when it's time to tell you something new. I was trying to insert this pre-molded cup inside here, just to see how it looks. It looks nice, however, I think the size is not, of course, correct. These standard molded cups always have that problem. Or you can design the pattern for the molded cup, or if you want, you already have the pattern and then you want to insert the molded cup, it's hard because sometimes the size is not exactly the same. But this one, if I insert this, despite it becomes not reversible, I think it still looks nice. I think it's something that probably I will do it in the future, but I will construct a cup instead of using pre-molded cups. I prefer to do so. Now there are a couple of ways to finish the bikini top, and I'm gonna show you one of them. I can't do videos for all the options, despite sometimes I try, but not this time. Just gonna do one option and that's it for today. So I'm gonna sew this without elastic from one edge to the other, and then I'm gonna come back because we are gonna secure the overlock threads again before we open the holes on the sides, okay? So I'm gonna come back, overlock, and I'm gonna come back to tell you which threads we are gonna secure. Now, some details. Flatten the darts, both of them, when you go to your overlock, so you don't get bulkiness in this area here. First tip. The second tip is I already went to my straight stitch machine and reinforced the stitches, and I'm going to show you. I know that I made a zoom of this image so you can see. I'm going to trim just the threads. But I secured from here to here, I have 1 centimeter. So it's 3/8 of an inch. So that will be my channel. And I reinforced the stitches here. Then here on the diagonal, I also did a stitch in exactly here where I'm showing you. Let me see if it's on camera. Yeah, exactly from here to here, front and back, so that when I open this now with my seam ripper, I don't have the risk of having all my overlock threads going away. And I did the same for all of them, okay? In the very beginning, and I think I still have videos with that, I used to do a fold and, well, a very complicated way so that this had another finish. But you will see that it was being too I mean, I'm a bit OCD, but this was too much. So I stopped doing it, and it's really nice anyway if you use this technique. I'm gonna now seam rip a hole here, and the same here, and the same on the other one. Trim this sharp edge as I always do, and we'll be back here. I don't know if you noticed, but I completely forgot to attach my strap on the top here. But it's fine, I can still, probably with my loop turner, use the side hole, grab my strap, and still place my strap in place and sew it. So it's not so easy like if I had the lower part of my bikini top open, but it still works. I can also pull already outside because I'm gonna then reverse the entire bikini. So I can pull this very carefully, and then I'm gonna sew just like we did on the other one, and then I'm gonna come back here. Now that we have our 2 triangle pieces, and before I forget, I'm gonna trim the edges of my straps so that they look nicer. That's also something I did in the beginning when I started sewing, was I finished this reversing, folding the fabric inwards so that you wouldn't see the cut of the scissor. Well, but then I stopped doing it. I'm really trying not to be so obsessive about some things. Now the next step is very easy. You just go to your straight stitch machine. It's important for you to do the channel parallel to the edge from the beginning until the end. Reinforce the beginning and reinforce the end with a back stitch. You need enough room to fit your strap going through the channel. I do a straight stitch or an elastic stitch, but still straight, that my machine has. And I usually start 1 centimeter from the edge, so 3/8 of an inch or a little bit more, and I go from one side to the other. And even if this is not completely perfect, if the strap goes through and then you do some rushing in the end, it will be beautiful on the body. I'm gonna do that final step, and then I'm gonna come back to go through with my strap and show you the final result. So I have explained that I don't like being too obsessive, but I always end up doing something to still make it look very nice. So what I did here was I sewed from the edge there, and then here I gave a small stitch so that my fabric doesn't unfold, unravel, and you will not see the insides of this. So this edge here will always look perfect and nice. And I did exactly the same here. And since you are now going with the strap over the channel, you will see that once you have the strap in place, this stitch is not gonna bother you anyway. Okay? So I had a problem here on my sewing machine, so this is not very perfect, but well. Let's go ahead now with the loop turner and insert our strap. And here you have my reversible top finished. I think it looks okay, it looks great. And this is the other side, which it's also nice. As you remember, we don't have excess fabric on the red, okay? And when we wear it on the red side, you will have a sneak peek of the other fabric, which is actually interesting. And that's it for today for our video, girls. See you soon, bye!